Welcome back to another episode of Her Expat Life. We are the YouTube channel that is dedicated to bringing female expats, female entrepreneurs, digital nomads, and females who live a global lifestyle all the relevant news, information, and support they need. We also offer a variety of services to females who are looking to advance their global lifestyle, from career coaching to expat exit packages that you can find out a little bit more about on our website, herexpatlife.com. Today, we are going to deep dive into a very interesting topic that I've been wanting to explore for quite a while, and that is the law of attraction. And we are joined today by one of our partners, Karys Ann Haggett, who is a law of attraction and fulfillment coach. She is on a mission to help other female expats in particular who are feeling lost to stop settling, find themselves and their purpose, and start living a life of their dreams. Karys is one of our partners. If you join the Her Expat Life membership program, you get not only discounts from her services, but a range of other partners that we have on board. So make sure to check out herexpatlife.com to get more information on that. Karys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm so excited to deep dive into this. I think there's a lot of information floating around on the internet about law of attraction, but a lot of it is maybe confusing or misleading. So I'm really excited to unpack this with you. My first question to you is, you have spoken openly about how you at one stage in your life were just going through the motions and weren't feeling fulfilled. Although from the outside looking in, it may have seemed like you were. Talk us through your journey and how you found your path as a law of attraction coach.
Of course, I'll start maybe back about 4 years ago, which is where I think I sort of had this realization that I was living this unfulfilled, monotonous life. As you can probably tell by my accent, I am not from Australia. I currently live in Australia, but I am from South Wales in the UK. So back about 4.5 years ago, I had not long got married. I had a lovely house that we just bought, me and my husband. I had a really secure job in government over in the UK as a project manager. But there was just something in me that just felt like I was living to work. So I was just working really long hours. I was traveling an hour and a half over to England actually to go to work. I felt like I was just working Monday to Friday, then going out on the weekends, getting really drunk, not because I really didn't like my job, then having that Sunday dreaded feeling and having to go back and just repeat the cycle again, in this monotonous hamster wheel. My husband and I decided to change it up. We weren't ready to have kids and settle down, and we didn't want that life for ourselves. I think back then I did some training for to be a dance fitness instructor for Turned Up Fitness, and that really ignited a passion in me and wanted me promoted me to go for more, and want more and see more. So we decided to make the move to Australia anyway. We thought we'd just try that life out because we'd been here before visiting and we really loved it. So we arrived just before the pandemic. Very good timing. So we were kind of locked in Australia for a couple of years. And I think, to be honest, that was one of the best things for us. It allowed us to really explore myself personally. I hated having time by myself before then. I was someone who always relied on my husband and worked my life around his. But it allowed me to actually explore what I wanted and what I needed. But I ended up in the same old job that I was kind of in back home. I was working for government again as a project manager. And even though I was in this new place, this new exciting, lovely place in Australia, I still felt like I was in a monotonous hamster wheel. The life was being sucked out to me in my job, as bad as it sounds. But one of my colleagues actually said that to me. And that's what prompted me to move, actually get a shift on and find out something that I wanted to do in my life that was really purposeful and I felt passionate about. So yeah, that's when I started exploring. A friend of mine had done coaching before and I'd seen her posts. I'd been to a few of her workshops and I really liked what she was getting into. And I felt like it was really aligning with basically everything that I'd done in my life, like all the training, all the project management work. And as soon as I started my coaching course, I instantly felt like connected and driven, and I just couldn't wait to start learning more. And I really just wanted to find out everything there was to know about coaching. But not only that, like the law of attraction itself, like a few years prior, I had found out about law of attraction and the fact that your thoughts can change your reality. And I'd seen so many shifts in my life by choosing that and choosing to think differently to attract the life of my dreams. And so I thought, like, marrying them two things together, like coaching, helping people find their purpose, but also like using the law of attraction to do that, is something that just made me feel so excited and like passionate about. And I just knew it was what I was here to do.
That's so
Long story.
inspiring. No, it's a wonderful story. I think it's so inspiring because I think many times from the outside looking in, it can seem like somebody really has it all figured out, but they still don't
Mm,
feel fulfilled. And I think a lot of people don't even know where to start or how to begin, or ignore
yeah,
that little voice and think, oh, but I can pay the bills and I've got a nice house and shouldn't
yeah,
complain really. I'm
me,
luckier than
yes.
others. Which is important to feel gratitude, but also if you're
Mm,
feeling like it's killing you slowly, then it's sad to live such an unfulfilled life. So it's very inspiring to hear that you found that thing that ignited that passion in you.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it's really, really cool to hear. You focus specifically on coaching female expats. This is where
Mm.
your kind of your niche is. Why have you chosen to focus on this particular group of people?
I think number one, like obviously it's a group of people I can really relate to. I am a female expat myself, but I also think just in the world of women, like I am really passionate about empowering women, like through my dance fitness program that I teach as well. Like we're all about bringing the best out of women, supporting and uplifting each other. And I feel like there is still a bit of a lack of that in the world. Like this whole self-comparison circle is still going around. So I really want to provide a space for women, particularly, like so, where they can feel like anything is possible for them. Because I feel like we, as women, we do sometimes still play a little small, like maybe just think we're meant to just work and then have babies and then that is what life is for us. So I'm really passionate about like getting women out of that mindset and into the world of endless possibilities. And obviously expats, because I feel like as an expat, you have that feeling of feeling lost. So you go away, try to find it in the place. And sometimes you end up in the place like I did, doing the same old thing and you're still not feeling fulfilled. So I feel like there's a real niche for it. The like expats go away and when they finally find a place to settle, they're still settling for that old life that never made them happy. And it's even worse then because you haven't got your friends and family around you. So I feel like it hits even harder sometimes when you're living that same unfulfilled life away from home.
That's a very interesting perspective because I think many
Mm,
people have this idea or illusion that I just need to change my location and everything else will fall into place. And it can be motivating to be, change of scenery and it can be inspiring, but you're right. So if you're not dealing with that underlying issue,
mm,
they say you can't run away from your problems, right? So
yeah,
yeah, and it's
that's
true.
exactly right.
And expats, we do deal with a different kind of challenge in the sense that your support
Mm,
system is far away from you. And, sometimes you have imposter syndrome, which we're going to dive into a little bit later. And yeah, it's like a whole host of challenges that are in addition to what you would have felt had you stayed at home and pursued the same thing.
yeah, but also it's like you have done the scariest thing that anybody could think of doing. Some people can't even think of leaving their comfort zone and their friends and family. So really, like we've got such a big opportunity as expats. We've already broken like a huge barrier of like that stuck feeling, leaving your comfort zone, going to a completely new place. So I just want women to like understand that this is their chance for a new life, like a new opportunity and something to do something exciting. Don't go back to your old habits that you wanted to leave home for.
Okay, let's deep dive into law of attraction. And my very first question to you is, in simple terms, what is law of attraction?
Okay, so simplest terms that I can describe it is that your thoughts can create your reality. Well, they do create your reality. So whatever you are thinking in your mind gives out a vibration, which is then what you return back to. So I like to think of it as a mirror and request. What you give out is what you receive. That goes back to not only your thoughts, but your thoughts are caused by your belief systems. So the first, like one of the steps that people forget about in law of attraction is actually looking at those deeper belief systems and figuring out why their reality keeps like tumbling in this way that is unhelpful for them. And just a slight change in that perspective, opening your mind to the possibilities of what could be and looking at your positively influenced goals rather than I don't want this to happen, looking for I want this to happen. That's the simple terms for me. Like, don't think about what you don't want, only think about what you do want. That is what the legendary Bob Proctor, like he's the guy who got me into law of attraction. That's what his meditation says, and that's just the one that stuck with me. Don't think about what you don't want. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm. Because the idea is that thoughts are energy. Thoughts create
Yes.
energy, right? So if you're
Yeah.
constantly focused on the negative, it's just going to perpetuate more of what you don't want.
Yes. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
totally right. So that thought, the thought, obviously, it's a big cycle, right? Like it goes from your belief systems to your beliefs create your thoughts. Your thought creates your feelings, and it's a feeling that gives out that vibration. So it is like tackling that at the source to get you out of this unhelpful circle we sometimes find ourselves in. Because you can
Hmm.
go on a helpful spiral as well, right? Like it's
Yeah,
understanding that can happen. And a lot of people
yeah,
don't even realize that. Works both
yeah.
ways.
Okay, so what are the principles of law of attraction?
Number one, only think about what you want, not what you don't want. So every time we are asking for something, we want to be making sure we ask for it in a positive context. So you are saying, instead of saying, I don't want it to rain today, like this is a very basic example, but it's going to be sunny today. Like
Mm.
you are asking for what it is you want. The word don't isn't really picked up in your subconscious mind or in the universe, doesn't recognize the word don't. So it thinks you're asking for that very thing you're saying you don't want. So that's like number one principle for me, making sure that thing that you're asking for is in the positive context. Then it is about being specific about what you actually want and having a clear vision of what that is. So you're not saying, I like to think of this as being a waiter in a restaurant. If you were a very fussy eater, you would tell them exactly what you wanted. You wouldn't just say, I want a bowl of pasta, because you might end up
Mm.
with a plain bowl of pasta. You want to say, I want rigatoni with a creamy mushroom and bacon sauce, topped with Parmesan cheese, cooked al dente with a side of garlic bread and cheese. That's what I would do.
I'm so
But
hungry
you
right
want
now.
to be, I know. You want to be really, really specific about what it is you want. So ask for it. First, number one, ask for it in a positive context. Be specific about what you want. And I would also like accompany that with thinking out of the box, thinking big. Like, don't limit yourself to what you think is possible for you. Like, go a bit crazy, get a bit delusional with what you're asking for. Make it feel like it's impossible, therefore exciting. So when you've
Mm.
asked for what it is you want to feel into the feelings of having that thing right now. So usually in the law of attraction, like I'll say to my clients, we want to talk about it like as if it's already happened. So you already are in that place. That thing has happened. How are you feeling? How is it making you feel? What are the emotions it is giving out to you? And that emotion that it gives out will help attract that thing to you a bit quicker. Also, like visualization itself is quite important, trying to like picture that thing in your mind's eye. And now I've got a really actually funny fact, because I had been manifesting and like using law of attraction for years and doing visualization meditations, but I have only recently realized that I can't actually visualize, like I can't picture
Mm.
images in my mind. And I
Hmm.
didn't realize that this wasn't a normal thing. So even though I can't actually see the image of what I want in my mind, I can feel the feelings like quite
Okay.
easily, like thinking about it. So that is the most important thing, really. Obviously, the visualization makes the feelings come more quickly, feeling into those feelings. And then we want to, which is sometimes the hardest thing, like one, totally believe that it's on the way, trust and believe that it's on the way, and then let it go. Like you've asked, you've stated exactly what you want, just like you did when you give the waiter your order. You told him what you wanted. You would just know that that food is going to arrive that way,
Mm.
instead of thinking, oh, how is he cooking that food now? I wonder if he's using this type of Parmesan cheese. Like you wouldn't think of that if you'd given your waiter an order. So just hand it over. Don't worry about the how, and trust that it's going to come back to you, which is
Mhm.
sometimes the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, especially if you're somebody who likes to have a sense of control or a
Yes.
need to control things, that just trusting the process might be quite difficult for people. I
Yeah.
have a little bit of a follow-up question because you said you struggle to truly like visualize things mentally, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. Would something
Mm,
like a vision board help?
I do create a vision board, but for me, like
Mm,
I find words more impactful. So like
mm,
writing down what it is that I want, like writing and scripting for me is like a really powerful way that I manifest. So rather than actually seeing images, I feel like my mind doesn't always process images. So for me, like being just writing down the words and seeing the words, but I have got vision boards as well. But again,
okay,
I struggle to place that image in regardless of what it is. Like looking at it
I
is nice, but
see.
I still struggle to place myself in that image, if that makes sense. It's
Okay.
a very, very strange one, but I just laugh, and I think one day I will manifest visualizing.
Well, I think it's more of like, I guess what I'm understanding is the idea is to fully immerse yourself
Yes.
in the feeling of it. And whether that is
Mm,
visual or through words, the idea is to truly immerse your psyche in this thing. And for some
yeah.
people, it might be more picturing themselves in the situation, or someone like
Mm,
you, like writing it down. But I think that's more of what it is, whether whatever technique works best, the idea is the immersion in this thought process.
yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, definitely. The other thing I would say is to connect to your why. Like, why are you asking for these
Mm,
things? Especially, that's something that we often forget to do, is
mm,
like sometimes it's just for fun, right? Like when I started manifesting, I started doing little things for fun. Like I just used to wake up and say, I'm looking forward to the exciting miracles coming to me today. And
mm,
little things would pop up in my day, like little miracles, and I'd be like, oh my gosh. It is asking yourself why you want that thing to connect you deeper to the reason behind it, right? Like again, which
mhm,
connects you to that feeling a bit more. So I always find
mhm.
that a good little expansion on just saying, I want a new car. Like, why do you want a new car? What is it going to give
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Okay, my next question to you is, what are common misconceptions about law of attraction?
There's quite a few, I think. Like, I did touch on it at the start, but the fact that you can just like ask for something once and it shows up, like without doing any of the other inner work. So, say for example, you had a really bad like upbringing with money. I'll just use money manifestation as an example. Your internal belief system doesn't believe the money is good for you. Like you will might make comments about people who are rich and say, "Oh, look at them snobs." Like that the feeling that you were getting from that money, the universe is like, "Oh, you obviously don't want that because it makes you feel a bit rubbish inside." So it is making sure that you're not, when you ask him for something, if it feels uncomfortable in any way, it means that there is a deeper belief behind what you've been brought up with, or a deeper unhelpful belief that is kind of going against what it is you want. So it's very important to tackle that belief before
Mm,
you expect for that thing to arrive. I think that is the one thing. Also, I just think with the law of attraction, it is quite easy to stay attached, like stay too attached to that thing that you want. I think sometimes you can get a bit too wrapped up in manifesting the thing that you're giving out these needy vibrations, the thing that I need this right now. And you are focused a bit more on like getting it now, like I need it now this time, which gives out this energy of need, and that the universe doesn't respond well to that needy energy. So again, it's coming back to that, making sure you are focusing on it enough to get excited and feel the feelings, but also having the balance of letting it go rather than just obsessing over that thing you want to manifest. Because by obsessing over it, you are not pushing it further away, but it is not getting closer to you.
And is that because you're creating a scarcity mindset around this
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're creating like a lack vibration, like that scarcity. The fact that you haven't got that in your life right now is creating that feeling of lack and that feeling of need, and that is only going to bring, in the law of attraction world, right, will only bring more of that lack, or not the thing that you actually want into your world as quickly. Not to
So
say it
again,
will never come. Yeah.
so it's kind of, then again, kind of, you have to frame it as a positive energy, positive thing, positive connotation. And when it's scarcity mindset, it's almost creating a negative association link. So, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But also I think another common misconception about law of attraction sometimes, like, is the fact that you are trying to be too positive and push your feelings aside. Like, that's what I've heard in a few like in a few bits of research, and just the fact that you are trying, what is the word they say, toxic positivity. You're just brushing all your
Exactly. Yeah.
problems under the carpet. And I think it's a really important one to address, because it is not that at all. I would say that, if anything, is just trying to change your perspective on the world, on what you see as positive and what you see as negative. Really, like, we just make up positive and negatives in our mind. Like, what I think is something positive, somebody else might think is negative. So it's all based on your thoughts and your belief systems, what our reality is anyway. Practicing the law of attraction is more of a guide and a focus, but it is not to say that if something bad happens to you, that you try and brush it away and you don't feel that thing as if it's actually hurt you. Like, you don't feel those feelings of hurt. You're like, oh, it's fine, everything's going to be fine. And, you've got that fine face on and you're really, like, through gritted teeth. It's like, it is making sure you still feel those feelings, because that is so important to pass through you, so that you can move to the authentically positive and happy space again.
Okay, so let's imagine we have somebody who has tried visualization, who's tried manifestation techniques in the past, and it hasn't worked for them. What could be the reasons for this, and what are some roadblocks that need to be worked through for the process to work? So I know you've touched on this lightly, but if someone is just feeling so frustrated, like, oh, this doesn't work for me, what do you think could be some of the reasons for it?
Yeah, I think, like, I did touch on it briefly earlier, but that belief system. So that underlying belief system. One, the law of attraction works. That's the number one belief that you have to have, right? At all times, regardless of what's going on. You need to truly, fully believe that everything is working out as it should, in the best way for you. Life is working for you, not to you. So number one is that belief system, like, and number one is having the belief that law of attraction works and is real, and having faith that it will work out. But also addressing some of those underlying beliefs, where you might be asking for something, but it feels uncomfortable because you might have had something happen to you in your childhood, which really goes against what it is you're asking for, and deep down you really don't believe that it's possible for you, because of this feeling of, like, maybe not being good enough. It's always this I am not enough story, which I'm sure we've all had at some time in our lives. Like, there's been a moment in our life, in our past, it may be usually by the time we are 7, like our subconscious mind has formed all of its core beliefs, and we are still building them obviously as adults, but from a little moment, like from the age of 5, where you might have just been given a bad score in class by a teacher, might have formed this belief that you are not, or you are not intelligent enough. And until you recognize that you've got that belief, find, number one, try and pinpoint where it's come from and then debunk it. A lot of the time, what you are manifesting is what you believe. So that thing might not come to you as quickly as you might be expecting it to.
So it sounds like you really need to do the work. And maybe this is what people are kind of not
Yeah.
focusing on. It's like, okay, I know what I want and I'm going to ask for it, but it's like, no, you kind of have to do the work
Do
within yourself first before that will come out.
yeah. And it takes lots of work, right? Like, because the human mind is naturally like negative. It's like we have 80% of our thoughts are negative naturally as human instincts. So imagine you've gone through your whole life, like 30 years of living almost, thinking negative cycles of thoughts. It's not going to change overnight. It really
Yeah.
isn't. You have to reprogram your mind in a consistent way and trust that this way will work for you, and just keep reprogramming until you are in a natural habit of only thinking about the things you want and totally believing the things you want. Even going so far as like asking yourself, when you ask for something, say, do I believe this is possible for me? And usually you'll have a feeling, yes or no. Like, you will have an instinctive feeling of whether you actually believe that it's possible. If the answer is no, then start to work on that. Why? Like,
Okay.
question. Why?
Why? Yeah. Yeah. Like, so stop limiting yourself if you really want
Yeah,
the universe to give you the things you're asking for. You can't then be restricting yourself whilst
yeah,
asking for the very things.
exactly.
Okay, so there's a side of law of attraction or a critique that it often receives that I'd like to unpack with you a little bit. So some critics argue that law of attraction can perpetuate a victim blaming mentality, suggesting that individuals are solely responsible for their circumstances. How do you address this concern and ensure empowerment without disregarding external factors beyond one's control?
Yeah, I would say I'm glad you asked this question, because I think it is a bit of a sensitive topic for some people, like especially if you haven't done the work on yourself and you are in that place of feeling like the world is doing things to you. I think initially it is changing that belief that the world is working for you, not to you, which, you know, everyone's got completely different circumstances, and that can be so much harder for some people than it is for others. So I think first of all, it is not trusting that the world isn't happening to you, like things, you are not under scrutiny by the universe or by God. Like, things happen, it is life, and we can only take from it what we want, and we can choose to either use that as a way to knock us back and make us feel hurt and make us feel like we are the victim in our own lives, or we can use that as power. We can use that knockback as power to know that the universe will only give you what it thinks you can withstand. It will only throw at you the things that you think you are strong enough to overcome. So if you take that perspective and just tweak it to know that these things have only been dealt to you because you know how to overcome it, you can overcome it, you are strong enough to overcome it, like, that is the first thing. But also I would say that it's not, by not practicing law of attraction, you're not necessarily forming all your, you're not causing your reality to be bad, but you're stopping the good things from coming. So it's not that you are causing all the bad things. Like, for me, I always refer it to, you know, when you've got out of bed the wrong side and then you are late for work and you've tipped coffee all over yourself, and then you're in a rush and then all the traffic lights are red and you've had your day's gone from bad to worse. Like, that's how I like to think law of attraction affects your life, is in those little moments where your day just feels like, oh, it's really bad. And instead of going with that spiral and
Mm.
continuing that downward spiral of feeling like, how can this day get any worse? Basically, you're asking for your day to get worse when you say that. Can
Yeah.
this day get any worse? Yeah, okay, I'll give you a worse day if you want it. But by recognizing the law of attraction is working there, like I know I've had it, like you can give yourself a reset and just like take a few deep breaths. Okay, that's done. How can I get myself into a higher vibration to make this day turn
Mm.
out better? You don't have to go with the down days and let them keep going down into that spiral. You can
Mm.
make that mindset shift to turn your day around and start your reticular activating system, that little part in your brain which attracts everything our brain thinks is important for us to us. So rather than focusing on all the things that are going wrong, it starts to look for the things that are going right. And a
Mm.
really good way to like snap into that is to instantly focus on gratitude. Some things that you're feeling grateful for, getting yourself into that feeling of gratitude is one of the highest vibrations you can get in. So you will instantly feel a shift in your energy if you do a little gratitude, like 3 to 5 things you're feeling really grateful for, and actually like
Mm.
explore them even further if you can, and you'll instantly feel that shift in energy.
Gratitude's a wonderful practice because, especially in difficult times, we can get very caught up in our narrative of, oh, this is such a difficult moment. My life is so tough. My life is so hard. And maybe it
Yeah,
can be, but there's always something to be grateful for. And it really
always.
does help just also process life's challenges when you look at like
Mm,
there's always someone out there who's having a worse day or worse problems or worse issues. So sometimes to
yeah.
just also own your bad luck or own your bad experiences and kind of be
Mm,
grateful for them because it could always be worse. That's
'cause
something I always try to tell
yeah,
myself. It could be worse. It could
it
be
could be
worse.
worse. It could always be
Yeah.
worse, right? Just the fact that we're here, like we are here on this earth, is something to be grateful for. And you've got your health,
Mm.
and we can talk, we can use the internet to talk, like the littlest things. Um, we've got to be so grateful for, and the more you focus on those things, like that reticular activating system in your brain will
Mm.
start to bring more of those things to your attention. So you'll start feeling more grateful. The more you practice gratitude, the more grateful you'll feel, and it'll just become easy for you to resort to that over thinking about how bad your day has gone.
Yeah. Okay. We've actually just
Oh.
discussed gratitude, so that's my next question out of the way. Talk us through mantras, maybe. So, phrases or words that can be repeated. Why do they work, and how do we find ones that are suited for us or that we need to be using? And why are they so powerful?
Mm. Yeah, so mantras, or affirmations as I call them, same one of the
Mhm.
same thing, right? They are really powerful tools to reprogram that subconscious belief that we have talked about earlier on. So it's more about, because we're in this negative cycle, this loop as humans, it's just natural for us to be like, think about the negative things first. We need to train our brains to believe the new thing that it's been thinking is the right thing for so many years. It takes practice, takes consistency and repetitive consistency for your subconscious mind to then embody that new belief. So it's like, I think of it like training a toddler to talk, a baby to
Mm.
talk. You have to repeat the same words over and over to them, and then
Yeah.
they start saying them and talking them to other people. So when you are trying to train your subconscious mind to like reinstate new beliefs in you, you have to just keep repeating those things. Like however you can try and bring those into your daily routine is good. Like try and habit stack where you can. So for me, like I'll wake up in the morning and I'll always do gratitude first thing. And when I'm in the mirror, like brushing my teeth before I go to work, I'd be saying my affirmations in my head, like I am strong, I am powerful, I am so grateful for everything that is coming to me. I believe the universe is bringing me my magical dreams, like whatever it is, whatever you want to play with. And when I go to bed at night, I'm doing like my facial wash routine. And that's when I'll do like usually my self-love affirmations, looking in the mirror at yourself is where they can become the most powerful, because it is literally like you saying to you, and you saying to your subconscious mind, this is the new thing I want you to believe. The more I say it, the more it will be like, oh, okay, that is what we believe now. So it is just like training that subconscious mind to take on something new. And I think how you know what is the right thing for you is, again, exploring what it is you definitely don't believe. Like when you've identified those unhelpful beliefs that you've been carrying with you that have been blocking your manifestations, then you can look to create a new belief for what it is to counteract that old one, right? Like you need to find it, debunk it, create a new belief to move forward and start programming into our subconscious mind. But I think one to always go back to, and I learned this from Louise Hay, which is, she's like the queen of affirmation. She's got a few books on like how affirmations can change, heal your life, basically all different diseases. It's super duper interesting. But it's just, I love and approve of myself. Like, so I always say that one, I love and approve of myself. Like, again, I think that is one of the core things. Until you can get past loving yourself, you don't think you deserve much. So until you can learn to love yourself first and put yourself first and believe that you deserve whatever it is you're asking for, it's going to be really hard to get past that. So I think starting with something like I love and improve of myself will, if you don't love yourself, feel super uncomfortable. And if it feels uncomfortable, you know it's the one that you need to work on. If it feels comfortable, you know you believe it already, so it's fine. If it feels uncomfortable, that's when you know these are the ones that I need to use.
I like that. And I'd like to ask our audience at home, if you have some affirmations that you use, please feel free to drop them in the comment section. Let's share some good affirmations and get people changing these subconscious blocks that we have.
Yes, love that.
Okay, this leads actually really, really well into the next question. How does self-love and self-care factor into the practice of law of attraction?
So yeah, I think, like I said, for me, I only learned about law of attraction through my turned up fitness training, which is all about self-love and self-empowerment and women empowerment. And that was the first step of my self-discovery journey, really. My self-development journey is learning to love myself and my body, something I didn't really touch on at the start, but I used to be very body conscious. I used to like pick at every single part of my body in the mirror. I used to like really badly crash diet. I tested all the diets under the sun, the 5-2, the just eating bananas every day. I don't even know what diet that was, but I was very self-critical of my body. And also I didn't like taking photos of my face. Like I was very self-conscious in that way. So I think the very first step to manifesting is learning to love yourself first, to put yourself first and have the belief that you deserve more. Because until you believe that, you are likely not going to manifest more, right? Because your manifestations come from your belief systems. So I think, number one, learning to get comfortable in loving yourself. So like doing those mantras, those affirmations in the mirror to start that cycle off. Like even like giving yourself a hug. And like I'm doing this a lot lately, like just wrapping your arms around yourself, giving yourself a little squeeze, like for a good 20 seconds, and just saying the word love, 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 love over and over in your head while you're doing that. You have no choice but to feel the vibration of love when you're doing that for 20 seconds or more. Like you will start to melt and feel comfortable in yourself. And also obviously taking time out of your weeks for you, just you, regardless of how busy your life is. Like I have a full-time job and 2 other jobs, like the coaching, and I teach the dance class on the side, 3 jobs. And even without that, like I worked out with one of my clients quite recently that even with a full-time job and sleep, there is still 72 hours spare in the week.
Wow.
So
That's
I know. I know.
What are we doing with our time?
I know, exactly. And time is the one thing that you can't get back. So I think, first of all, like working on your self-love to know that you deserve self-care time is super important as
Mm.
well. Because just like taking even if it's an hour, 2 hours away for yourself, like having a nice bath,
Mm.
relaxing, doing nothing. And by doing nothing, I don't mean binge watching a TV program. Like do something that's going to develop you and your brain, or sitting and journaling.
Yeah.
Meditation for me has been like a life changer, like in being able to control my thoughts and the negative thoughts and reprogram them. Like meditation is the number one thing that I started with. So yeah, I think it is just making sure that you are very vigilant in setting at least a couple of hours aside for you every week, because
Mm.
there's 72 of them. Even if you have children, they might be cut down to maybe 40, but or half that, 30, still 30
Yeah.
hours. Look at your
Mm.
screen time on your phone. If you were saying you haven't got enough time for yourself, look at your screen time and then say how many hours you have spare in the day. Because that's what I did to myself.
Oh,
You have
yes.
to be like, hey, wait there. You have to kind of be your own teacher in a way. So getting
Yes.
that
No.
discipline is sometimes quite hard, but you will get there.
Yeah. And I think the challenge is you kind of get a bit stuck in a loop or a cycle, because if you're not happy at work or you're not happy with your life, you're looking for escapism. And escapism is the Netflix binging and the Instagram. And you're losing that time and opportunity to work on yourself and to lift up your vibrations a little bit in order to change your circumstances, but you're not doing that because you're looking for escapism to kind of forget
Yeah.
about your problems. And it's kind of a vicious cycle. But you're right, there is
Mm,
time, because personally, when I look at how much time I spend on social media, I'm shocked, because I'm like,
I
wow,
mean,
I could have
I'm like,
learned a new language or picked up a new how to play the piano. I could have done so
yeah,
much more with my life if we really think
yeah,
about how much time we spend on social media.
yeah.
There is
It's
always
the
time.
yeah, this is the social media trap. It is. I've actually
Yeah.
downloaded a really good app recently I did put set time limits on my iPhone, but they weren't working. I was just like, dismiss. Obviously I'm on it for business, but like still
Still.
you do get caught in the scroll every now and then.
Yeah.
And I've downloaded this new app. I can't remember what it's called now. I'll have to find out. But it's actually it pops up with reminders, like nice little messages to say, you are sunshine. Do you think Instagram is bringing out your sunshine? Yes or no? Like
Oh,
stay here or leave. So it gives you, depending on how you like to be messaged, sometimes it can be
yeah.
like what are you doing here, get off
Firm.
kind of thing. But for me, I like positive reinforcement, so I've been finding that app really useful actually for limiting my time on Instagram and getting
Mm.
me more like focused on what I'm going on there to do the
Mm.
business and then shut it away. Try and have some
Exactly.
off device time, because those devices do just suck
They
our
really do.
positive vibration. I can literally feel
Yeah.
myself going into a
Zombie
zombie.
mode. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Karis, please can you tell us a little bit about your free ebook that is available on your website?
Oh, yes, of course. So I do have a free ebook available for download on my website. It is for those of you, again, who are quite new to this world of self-development, but you've already made the decision that you want more, right? So you've already decided that you might be in the same loop I was talking about at the start, this same negative cycle, and you want more from life. So this ebook is all about helping you one, how to uncover what your purpose might be, to do some self-discovery work. Start there, start at the basics, really get to know yourself, what you value, and the things that excite you, and bring that excitement into your life, and maybe pluck out some of the things that have been hiding in your subconscious mind as things you've been wanting to do for a while but never wanted to do. So it's first of all helping you uncover that purpose and passion, and then how you can use the law of attraction to manifest that into your life. Because I do really believe when you find your passion, your purpose, and the right path that you're going down, the universe makes it easier for you. The universe is never going to make something easy for you that is not meant for you. So if you're in that
Mm.
place that is stuck and you're feeling stuck, it's because you're not meant to be there. Start
Mm.
exploring. If you're feeling stuck, start exploring what it is you like to do when you start going down that path of where you think you should be going, like not in society standards, but where you truly feel like you should be going and it feels right for you. The universe will start putting little helpful things in your way, in your path to help you get there. So it gives you a bit of the basics of law of attraction and how you can start using those in your life to bring about the life that you want.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that free resource. And as we wrap up today, how can people get hold of you? Where can they find the ebook, and how can people reach out to you?
Oh, yes. So on my website, which is karysann.com, just like my name, karysann.com, on there you will find my free ebook. Also, there are links on there if you connected with me today and you were thinking that perhaps my journey has inspired you to take that little leap and put yourself first and put you first and start looking into that life of your dreams, then you can book a complimentary discovery call with me. So I offer a free 60 minutes coaching call. It kind of gives you a little insight into the world of coaching, because especially if you haven't done it before, you really don't know what to expect, right? So I like to give people a little insight into the power of coaching and whether we would be a good fit to work together. So I'm currently running a 12-week one-to-one bespoke coaching program, and I'll also be releasing a little bit later in the year a group coaching program. So to keep your eyes peeled for any information on that. But my Instagram and social link should be at the bottom as well.
We'll include everything below in the description box.
Oh,
Karys,
great.
it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. And I really hope that we've inspired some people to start doing the deep work and creating a beautiful, fulfilling life for themselves.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
For the listeners at home, please make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our new videos. Comment, share your thoughts. What did you enjoy from today's chat? What would you like us to focus on? And make sure to follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok. We're everywhere. Make sure you also visit herexpatlife.com to get a comprehensive list of all of our offerings and services. And make sure to download our app. We have an exciting app that's just launched. If you're an expat, a female digital nomad, and you're looking for community, female support, networking, events, chances to meet like minded women just like yourself, please download the Her Expat Life app and start connecting and building your global community. And that is it from us today. Thank you so much, Karys, and we'll be back soon with another video for you.
Thank you.